Hi, Dom.
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
Hey, not too bad. How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was great, very relaxed. Spent it with friends and family.
Huh, yep,
All
good, good,
good. How about
good.
you?
Um, well, I didn't spend it with friends or family technically because I was at work, but um, I worked on the entire night shift
Mhm.
of this week. So I'm actually like really enjoyed chilling out and but Thanksgiving wasn't bad. I was kind of dead where I worked, and so had a lot of leisure time.
Good.
But so it was a relaxing Thanksgiving anyway. So, and I had plenty of good food anyway. But yeah, uh, I guess I guess now we've got a fun movie to talk about.
Indeed, we
Yeah.
do.
And this
Indeed, we do.
movie, I just want to say this one, I picked it, but this one actually, this is one of our viewers and our listeners, viewers, and that this is Kim that recommended this one, and so shout out to Kim. She
Hey,
liked this.
Kim.
Yeah,
Thank
hey
you for the
Kim.
movie.
Yeah. So yeah, your name is being mentioned here, so you're now infamous. But
Infamous.
so for better or worse. But anyway, yep, we're doing Wrath of Becky, and if you want to give the intro, um, go
I
right
will.
ahead.
So the movie today is the 2023 um, action comedy. You
Yeah,
could actually describe this in a few ways. The Wrath of Becky,
yeah,
and it's a sequel to the 2020 movie Becky,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
follows basically a similar path. We follow the main character, Becky, who after the activities of the first movie is now going from foster home to foster home and pretty much taking care of herself. She's pretty much an emancipated minor.
yeah. It's in the first one, of course, she loses her entire family. She had already lost her mom, and then tragically, they get besieged by a bunch of a bunch of animals that kill off her family and the what's left of it, her family, and she has what maybe would have been a stepmom, but which I felt bad for the future stepmom and her kid because they kind of walked into the whole they were
Oh
visiting,
man, that
and
was
yeah,
horrible.
it was horrible. The whole thing was. But the really nice thing about both the movie Becky and Wrath of Becky is how much catharsis you get out of seeing Becky is just she's well, at least in the first one.
Becky has anger management
Yeah,
issues.
yes, which are wonderful to watch. Um, Becky is not playing around when it comes, or actually she is, but she's playing around in a real sadistic way. She the early on in Becky, they kill her father uh, over a walkie-talkie.
Right,
She hears,
well, right in front of her, she's
oh, actually,
watching.
that's right. They had actually lured her to a fire pit where they had him tied up, and they killed him. And that was the stupidest thing that guy could have done because,
There's a lot of stupid decisions in both these movies.
yeah, yeah. But that one, you know damn well when you do something like that, you have just inspired. I mean, unless you've broken a person mentally so that they don't even have the desire to resist you anymore. Um, if you do something like that, kill someone that the person and her last remaining parent, right in front of her, she was on the warpath before, and now she's really on it. And there's no relenting, there's no letting up.
You
Um,
could make an argument for that created a psychotic break that turned her into a monster.
yeah, I I love Becky. She's a great character, and I mean it's hilarious some of the things that Becky does, and in this movie. It's terrifically funny, um, good
But,
action.
but in any case, let's finish
Sure.
the plot for this movie.
Yes.
This movie follows the same thing. We see Becky in a home with essentially what is a foster parent, though not legally so.
Yeah.
She runs into some uh, wastes of human skin
Yep.
and angers them. And in response, they kill her foster parent and steal her dog.
Yeah. And
Again, stupidest thing you could have done because now she is on a vendetta and tracks them down to make them pay.
well, the dog is actually her last really remaining tie with anything connected to her family too.
It wasn't a purebred, though,
No,
as
but
Kevin James points out.
well, yeah, true. But cane corsos are seldom. They're like what a pit bull is, in the sense of you don't know necessarily what you're part of the problem. I think with because I'm not a huge and I'll probably anger a lot of people, but I'm not a huge fan of pit bulls. I um, I never trust them, and I know there's tons of people. I knew a guy that had a pretty big pit bull. And he used to always talk about, oh yeah, it's a big baby and stuff. And I'd be over the house and I'd pet it a little bit, but I always looked at it and I thought, if this thing ever decided to just turn and go bad, things aren't gonna go well. And that's my problem is they're basically bred as a fighting machine that and yeah, some people have bred in like calmer, sweeter traits. Others have bred them for fighting and or they've been abused. If you, God forbid, you get a rescue one, which I think people that take in rescues, that's great. But that cane corso is a part of the reason I mention all that is the cane corso is a part of why this movie is so fun too. The dog is just such a formidable, he's
And
he's
yet they don't use it.
no,
Like it
no,
is not utilized as a weapon in any way, which I found odd.
I found it odd, but I was almost a little bit happy. I wouldn't have wanted to see a movie either or two movies with a bunch of like dog attacks. I
I
like the
know, but
fact that
it was almost like Chekhov's dog.
yeah,
You
yeah,
Chekhov's gun, you see a gun, you know it's going to be used. I see a dog like that. They chose a purposefully menacing looking dog that looked
yeah.
formidable.
Well, and cane corsos, I really didn't know much about cane corsos until a few years ago. I watched some YouTube videos, and that's really been my big. Um, they are impressive. They certainly can be a protective animal. Other dogs don't really want to mess with them too much. Cane corsos, they could probably take, you'd need more than one, but they could probably take on a bear and make the bear want to back off. I mean, the cane corso is not going to do well against something like a grizzly or something, but the bears don't like having cane corsos around. They're going to stay away, and they're tough dogs. So this dog, and I actually have heard, by the way, that the dog that was in the movie, I'm pretty sure I heard that the dog had died. If my
Huh.
information is wrong, since that movie, I would love to see a Becky 3.
I think you're going to, I could almost guarantee you're going to. And
Yeah,
I'll tell you why. So this movie, The Wrath of Becky,
yeah,
it was written and directed by Matt Angel and Suzanne Coate. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that
yeah,
last name
yeah.
correctly,
I couldn't tell you.
but so written and directed by them. They are they were kind of newcomers at the time. This is their third movie. They only had two movies under them. In
Huh.
addition to that, they had absolutely no connection to the original.
Oh, really? I didn't know
None.
that. Yeah, I
Not
didn't
a
know
single
that.
connection. the studio that owned the rights contacted them and said, "Would you like this project? Would you like to make a Becky sequel?" They jumped at the opportunity. Like, who
Yeah.
wouldn't? Like, yes.
Oh yeah.
And then they said, "Well, we don't have a script, and you've got three weeks to write one." So
Wow.
this was not like a
A long planned. Uh,
right. The studio didn't seem to want to put too much effort into this. In
yeah.
addition to that, it had a budget of like just under 200 grand, which is
Yeah.
nothing,
Yeah.
and filmed in 18 days.
Yeah.
This was um, almost a carbon copy of the first movie. And at the very end, at the very end of The Wrath of Becky, we have another relatively big name for this cast come in, Kate Siegel.
Yeah. Yeah.
She is introduced in the last 10 minutes. We see her on screen for maybe 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It strikes me as odd that you would make a film this quickly, this cheaply, and end it like that without having a three planned.
Well, and there's a whole thing with the key, which was the central
Right.
focus of the original movie, Becky, and this weird key. And at the end of the movie, we see that the key is a two-part key, and that it's got code on it, and there's a whole thing. And the offer that the agent makes to Becky is, do you want to know more about this key? Now, this key has become very important in Becky's life because it caused the death of her family, and and it also was something that the people in the second one, Wrath of Becky, wanted to get a hold of. So,
Well, not originally. They have,
not a
once they
no,
found it, they were very interested in it.
yeah. So apparently, this key has some real there's some kind of real appeal about this key, and we're going to hopefully, if we see the three the third version made, we're hopefully going to see just what this key is about. Um, and I'm sure for Becky, it's not going to be worth the death of her family. But
Now,
yeah,
you saw the key. It was
yes,
basically it's two part. It looks like a normal key, but then the part you hold it, you can pull it out, and an inner cylinder shows a bunch of letters and numbers.
yeah, yeah, almost like a codex or something. Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
No, no. I mean, I
That
didn't focus tightly on it to begin with, but no, I don't.
that is a universal transverse Mercator coordinate.
Okay, that's right. They did say that it was coordinates. I do
Mhm.
remember that part. So and that was where the yeah, the coordinates didn't come out until um midway through the midway through the Wrath of Becky, right? When
Right.
yeah.
I mean,
So
so they put this movie together so quickly and then introduced this huge plot part at the almost the end.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, it seems insane that they're not planning a Becky 3.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I also liked I didn't I didn't really when I realized Sean William Scott was in the movie, I was like, really? He's gonna be like the big villain? And this is when I saw it originally, and I was pleasantly surprised how good he was at playing a villain. And there was still there's he I mean he was Stifler. He was
Yeah.
Stifler in American Pie, and we all remember Stifler's mom.
Hmm.
So, but anyway, no, I kind of like just associate him with Stifler and that character, that weird character in the American Pie movies. And I thought it was actually kind of surprising, and it was a nice thing to see him take on a different role that he handled pretty well, I thought, as a
Well,
villain.
he has talked in interviews. He's talked about playing a villain before.
Really,
He's always kind of wanted a role like this.
yeah,
And the best I can say about him in The Wrath of Becky is that he's competent.
yeah, quite
I
competent, I
may have
thought.
been more impressed if he hadn't had to follow Kevin James. Kevin James in
Ye-
Becky is amazing.
yes, yeah, yeah,
I kept having to remind myself, this
yeah,
is the King of Queens. I'm like,
yeah.
he did it so well.
He did, but the fact that he was coming in that shadow after the first movie, Becky, I thought he picked up the pace and grabbed the baton pretty well considering, and the fact that it was a guy who played Stifler before, and
Well, not he
like
also played the Bulletproof Monk.
that's true, but like I said, Stifler is so ingrained in my brain that I thought he was quite good in this one. I thought he didn't overplay it. This could have easily been overplayed with him trying to be like a badass
Mhm.
or some kind of like I'm the villain. And instead he was almost in some ways until the end when it starts getting really dark with his mom and him both. In the early part, he's actually pretty like when he finds out he's like, who is this Becky and why is she like? And they're like, well, we took her dog, and he's like, give her the dog back. He just
Haven't
wants
any
to.
of these people seen John Wick?
Well,
I'm like, if you've seen John Wick, don't mess with someone's
don't.
dog.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, believe me, I have definitely had dogs that I love to that extent. Just lost a dog in my life, Max, a golden retriever, beautiful dog. I have I cried more over when we had to put that dog down. Uh, I cried more over that dog than I probably did my own parents, and I love my parents dearly. But there's something about the vulnerability and the beautiful unconditional love of a dog. So I can understand. And again, with Becky and Wrath of Becky, this dog was the last remaining tie to what she considered family.
Even if you don't know that, you don't mess with someone's pets.
No,
Like,
no,
that's
no.
just wrong.
There's a connection. There's a connection on a deep level. Um, and especially, I mean, dogs and cats. There's people that are. I'm not as huge of a cat person, but there's plenty of people that are, and they love their dog or cat. To the now, there's people that are like that about horses, but there's some connection with pets and animals that people have that is amazingly it's a loving thing and it's as close a lot of times or closer than some human connections. So
The
yeah,
number
don't
of people I've heard say that they value an animal over a human is
right. I
impressive and a little disturbing.
yeah, I know I find that a little harder to accept, although I will say I have joked before about like especially like I said, good old Max, the golden retriever. Um, Max was I probably would have done more probably to try to save him than I would have, you know, some humans. So so yeah, I get it. It's but yeah, that's a hard one to. But yeah, this cast, the sequel had a pretty strong cast also, and I liked a lot of the characters. The foster mom that she had in this one. I liked her and I liked her tenacity and her I mean she was a cool chick and
Yeah, but she was, I mean, eh, this is a fun movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing the
yeah,
movie. This is a fun movie. But one of the things I really disliked in this movie is they moved it along so quickly. You didn't have time to get an emotional investment in many of the characters. In the first one, you were so emotionally invested. You were almost as heartbroken as Becky when you saw her dad killed. You felt for the potential stepmom when she was in the hostage situation, you felt for Becky with the loss of her mom, and they kind of just glossed over that in this The Wrath of Becky.
Well, you're right, but the only thing I would say, and I think Becky had a little bit of an advantage. The first movie, Becky had a little bit of an advantage because she's playing a younger teen in that one, and she's because obviously some time has elapsed, and she's older. She's older by a few years. And in the first one, the thing that I felt you have to remember, and that was that um, she plays not only a younger teen that has just lost her mom, but we don't really know the full potential of Becky. We see her as a teenager that's kind of like just she's just trying to heal from the death of her mom. She's not feeling that little hat that she had there, that little knit hat. It made her like more of like she has it in the sequel, but but you when you see her put that on, she looks like a vulnerable kid, and you don't realize like that vulnerable kid is going to turn into that, and that she's so capable of fighting back, and she's not going to just stand there and take it and die. And so I think we know that in the Wrath of Becky already. We come into it with that knowledge. So Becky had a little bit of an advantage in that sense, but even though things move quicker and maybe we don't develop the character fondness that we had in the original, you still, and the humor that's in this, that was hysterical. She puts an arrow through through, through his face, and he's like, "Really?" He can't. She lures him out on the dock and puts an arrow through his face. It's some of the stuff in this movie is just hilarious. Um,
I
the
mean, it
the
has the same sort of energy. It's got the
yes,
same sort of fun. I mean, I can't deny it's humorous violence. I often
oh,
don't find violence
absolutely.
humorous, but this is humorous violence.
That's a big part of the appeal, Dom, of this movie is there's for anyone that hasn't seen these movies, or even if you had and you just looking to listen in and hear us talk about it, um, these movies, both of these movies, are action and very violent movies. However, they keep a sense of both humor and
You can't take it
lightheartedness.
seriously.
No, it's so, and the villains in both of these movies, which one of the things that I find way more, if I had to use the term pleasurable, um, it makes it so much better in the sense that these people are so deplorable, and it gets even worse at the end when you really find out like Sean Williams there with his mom, that whole situation is so depraved that it's this movie. Like I said, everything that happens in this movie, you feel like you feel like they deserved it. The bad
Oh, they
guys.
definitely deserved it. There's no doubt. There's
Yeah.
no ambiguity in good
No.
versus evil here.
No. And the characters that are evil are clearly evil. She actually like gets involved with these guys because she's working as a waitress in a diner, and these guys are such asshole animals that they kind of like decide they're going to take revenge on her just from their encounter in the diner, and that's when they go to her house, take her dog, and yeah,
It's one of the things that instills a sense of disbelief.
yeah,
Might this guy have screamed at her, tried to get her fired, maybe waited for her after work and tried to kick the crap out of her?
yeah,
Yes. Would they track her down to her house and commit murder? Would
yeah,
they
but well,
would they do B&E murder one and then steal the dog? It just seems like such overkill.
it definitely was overkill. However, there are people that are like this in real life, unfortunately, and they take things way too far. It's one thing to it's one thing to, um, you know, have an angry encounter and maybe even feel like now the person, deserves to be have something, be smacked around or something. But it's one thing to have that going on and doing this kind of depraved stuff that they did in this movie. However, again, these guys are deplorable animals, and that's the reason why Becky is after them the way she is, and she wants her dog back. so,
Man,
so
this
yeah,
dog has been knocked out in both movies.
yeah, yeah. And both times you think to yourself, "Oh no, now the dog's dead."
Exactly.
It's so, and again, when you see that, it's one of those things, talking about animals and your love for, animals like that, especially dogs for me. But but I don't like seeing animals hurt. I mean, I've hunted before, and it's one thing to hunt, it's one thing to do, but for someone to be sadistic and, the hurting of whether it's people or animals, but I mean, I don't get it. I don't get that kind of
No, if there's an animal that's
sadism.
attacking you, yeah, defend yourself.
Yeah, I
But
yeah, yeah, I fully see the value and the willingness to fight back and defend, yourself or your family, your loved ones, or another person. But I do not see why anyone would want to do something out of sadistic or just for no reason. I don't understand that level of sadism, and it's to me that's you've lost your ability to live in public society because you've crossed the line.
you've
And
crossed the line.
but once you
Let me come back to the movie to
yes,
talk about Jill Larson here,
yeah,
Daryl Sr., the mom.
yes,
Yeah,
it was
my
quite
God,
good.
this was definitely an example of no small roles. Like she was on screen for 10 minutes
Yeah,
most, and
yeah,
wow, she makes an impression.
yeah. Well, it's funny because we see her a little bit earlier briefly, and she looks, at that time she looks more vulnerable, old, sick, whatever. I mean, you don't necessarily develop any fondness for her, but then by the
But you
end,
discount her out of hand.
what's that?
You just discount her as
Yeah, yeah, I
important.
certainly did. I never thought that she was gonna turn into what she turns into at the end, and just how powerful she becomes at the end. Um, this movie has great villains in it. It's I know you were, talking about the cast of the first one, which is true. That movie is, that movie is pretty powerful. But it's the reason why we love both Becky and Wrath of Becky, is that, or at least I do. I don't have your total opinion on it yet, but
I gotta say, I almost wish like to prep for this video, it had been a while since I've seen Becky.
yeah,
So I watched these two movies almost back to back,
I
and
did. I
it
watched
was
them back to back. Yeah,
that was a mistake. Becky was so good,
yeah.
and this was just such a pale compare. It's again, it's a fun movie. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's just it's a less than the first.
I disagree on the pale comparison. I strongly disagree, but I will acknowledge Becky is, to me, probably Becky is that's the pinnacle.
Mm,
They did a great job with the first one. Um, when you're coming in with a sequel, and I don't care whether it's John Wick and the John Wick movies, or whether it's whatever it is with sequels. Um, you think about how many movies are franchises: Jaws, Friday the 13th, Halloween. Um, each time you try to put together a sequel, or the Alien movies, and some of the Alien movies have been, the sequels have been quite good. Others not so much. I still say Alien 3 was, like, it makes me shiver about how bad it was. but
oh
but
man, I saw that at the theater and I was so disappointed.
I know, it's like once you realize that she's got an egg planted inside of her and the alien's not going to hurt her, takes away all the
It,
scariness
and
for me.
I don't know what happened because great director,
Yeah,
decent cast.
yeah. And I can't think of the actor's name, but the guy who played Rock, he's in the movie, and I really like that guy. I loved him as Rock. I thought that series was a great TV series. I was sad when they ended it, but that was a cool series. But his character was pretty ineffectual in Aliens and Alien 3. But Alien 3D, wasn't it? Was it a 3D one?
There was, I don't know, it wasn't 3D. It wasn't
Okay.
3D. You got to differentiate between Alien 3 and then Alien Cubed
Yeah.
or Alien Rebirth or whatever the heck that other one
Yeah.
was.
I love the Alien movies, and I don't, half of them, I don't even, I look at them by numbers. Like, I loved Alien, of course. I loved Alien 2. I did not like Alien 3. The one with Winona Ryder, there are people that did not like that one. I actually really enjoyed that.
I loved it. And you know why? Josh Whedon.
Oh, yes. Well, yes. Well, I mean, hey, the man behind Buffy, but
Right.
uh, but as far as like the humor that was in the again the one with Winona Ryder, and I don't know the full name offhand, but sorry people, I'm coming off a night shift. I work a lot of night shifts. A lot of times when I'm doing these with Dom.
And
Uh,
also, we're talking about a movie completely removed from
I
the
know,
main
completely removed.
topic.
But I will say this much: the scene of climbing up the ladder, where that guy's on his back
Hmm.
facing down, and he sees this alien, and he's like, "Go faster, faster!" And the guy's crippled; he can't walk. He needs a wheelchair to get around in, and he's stuck like backpacked like a kid on the back of this guy, and this alien is just
On the
like
back of Ron Perlman, right?
yes, that's right. And that's another thing. It's got Ron Perlman in it. So that's another great character. So I don't care what anyone else says about because like I said, I know there's critics of that particular Alien entry, but I really liked it a lot. But back to this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And let me get back to this one by talking about yet a different movie.
yes,
Did you see this woman, Jill Larson, in the Taking of Deborah Logan?
yes, and my God, she was good.
She
I
is
have one.
great in that.
She is scary in that one. It's
Hmm.
freaky scary. She plays a scary villain. I mean, and that's another reason why I have to give this Wrath of Becky a lot of credit because one, I thought Sean Scott William or however you say his name, I thought he was quite effective, a worthy, uh, a worthy sequel to the first villain, and then the mother turns out to be the main villain at the
Yeah.
end. And so yes, she is quite good, and she scares me a little bit. So yeah, it's it's definitely to me it's definitely a movie that stands stands in instead to the original Becky. But yeah, I gotta say, um, I'm a fan. I thought and even certain scenes where you sit you think to yourself, oh, she keeps getting out of the messes that she ends up in. Now I have a question for you. We both love comics, but I'm not as much of a comic fan as these days as you are. What were these Becky and Wrath of Becky ones done from graphic novels?
No,
Well,
no.
that's crazy because it really feels like it.
Well, this movie should, because you know where the inspiration for Wrath of Becky came from. Two
No,
places. One was Kill Bill.
okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So they watched Kill Bill to get in the mindset for this
Yeah,
movie. But the second thing is, do you remember the movie Kick-Ass?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, one of the inspirations for Becky was Hit Girl.
Oh, okay. That,
And
yep,
that
that
was a
makes sense.
series of comics and graphic novels way before it hit the silver screen.
Yep. Yep. Um, and the scene you've got behind you, that was actually hysterical. The
Definitely one of
grenade,
the best.
for anyone that hasn't seen it and doesn't know, he has a grenade in his mouth, and the ring that's in the grenade um, is tied to a wire to the door. And so as soon as somebody opens the door, he is trying real hard to let them know, don't open the door, don't open the door. But how do you talk when you got a grenade filling your mouth? And sure enough, they open the door. But that is again one of the more humorous, and it's a. I mean, they don't show like too much of the what actually happens other than the situation. But again, it's you're like, wow, he's got a grenade in his mouth.
And
So
I gotta say, well, this is fun. Again, this is me, big surprise, another criticism of the
yeah,
Wrath of Becky.
yeah,
One of the things I loved about Becky is not only was she a teenage girl taking on a band of white supremacists,
yeah,
but she was doing it using pencils and rulers
yes, yes,
and fishing line and so many improvised things. Whereas she just starts picking up standard military grade weapons in this.
right,
And I get it. I would too. It makes
yeah,
sense. It's just not part of the charm of Becky.
yeah. Well, and hey, that might be a point taken if whoever is going to make Becky 3 is listening to Dom. That might not be a bad thing to incorporate at least partly.
Right.
And but at the same time, I like you say, I get it. And I'm not sure which one of the Halloween franchises, the one that came out probably around what was around 2018, the one where Jamie Lee Curtis, um,
Mike, after like 2000, I
yeah,
stopped watching any of those
yeah.
movies.
Well, I did see that one, and I did like I enjoyed it. It's it's getting harder and harder to make a. They made way too many of them. It's time to put it to bed.
Yep.
However, Jamie Lee Curtis is actually she's a lot of fun in that one. And as you might imagine, for someone who's gone through the pain she's gone through with Michael Myers, um, that what you would imagine was that somebody would arm themselves to the teeth and make your home as invulnerable as possible, fortress of solitude,
You,
as
you
you
would harden the entry points.
yes, and she has done that in that particular movie, and she's got a lot of arms, and so yeah, to someone that hasn't gone through it, it's you're like, why are you so armed up? But it's like, well, sometimes you might need to be, but but yes, and you can understand after dealing with what the evil that she had to deal with in the first one, why she would be that well armed. And she is, and she's gotten a lot better at defending herself, and she was pretty good in the first one. So, but yeah, so much of this is really about her, and
It's all about her.
yeah,
I mean, this wouldn't even be a thing without her. And that's Lulu Wilson, for anyone that doesn't know the actress.
yeah, yeah, and Lulu Wilson, I had never heard of her before prior to this. I guess she was in a few, maybe
She's
more
been
like
in a
Disney.
number of horror movies like Ouija, The Origin of Evil, and she was in Annabelle Creation.
Yeah, that actually that's what I know her from is the Annabelle ones.
Mhm.
Um, but which I enjoy the Annabelle ones. Um, but yeah, I largely did not know really who she was. I didn't even wasn't even associating her with Annabelle when I saw when I saw this one or Becky, the first one. But yeah, she's kind of. she's kind of cut a swath, as it were, with a machete for audiences to love Becky. She's pretty cool.
She plays the psychotic teen girl very well.
Yes, she does. She does, and she's got that look. She's got that. She can put that look on her face, her eyes, everything about it is like you start to you're thinking to yourself, this is just some teen girl, and she's like, how could she be like a badass? Well, she is, and
They're
she's
gonna start calling her Baba Yaga.
really seriously. I mean, she is definitely she's definitely capable, and and we love to see Becky in action. So I do hope that they actually will turn this.
I would be shocked. They would be missing a golden opportunity
Oh my
by
God, yeah.
not continuing that.
Well, especially since Hollywood is really in the doldrums right now with, they need to concentrate less on trying to be, you know, perfect and doing a movie just the way society wants or needs to be, and concentrate on the movie itself, the plot, the having a good director, having great actors, and putting together something that entertains, because that's what movies are about, is entertainment.
Mhm.
It's not about, yeah, you can make important movies that hopefully change people's
I look
minds, and
forward to seeing Nuremberg
yeah,
that's out at theaters right now. But yeah, if you've listened to me, I mostly want fun.
yes, we go to movies, and not that Hollywood's listening to us, but they should be,
Why
but
aren't you listening to
yeah,
us?
yeah, but I mean, audiences are going to see your movies because we want to be entertained, and that movies have always been about entertainment. Yeah, you can educate, you can influence, you can do all those things, but don't beat people over the head with a hammer either. Nobody wants to be pushed and led in a certain direction.
We need
So
some escapism.
yeah, yeah, we need escapism, and yeah, if you want to, a few subtle things in a movie, but don't make every movie about trying to change the world, or about how you think it should be changed. So again, we're going there for fun and entertainment, and that's what Becky gives us
Mhm.
is some pure entertainment. And
Did you see this Easter egg?
no, no, I
So
mean, I didn't
I
notice it.
might be particularly aware of this
Yeah,
because of Portland for the last few years. But this is the flag of the white supremacist group that Stifler led, the
yeah.
Noble Men. This
Oh,
is
okay.
shockingly similar to the logo, the flag of the Proud Boys.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, not being involved in any white supremacy, thank God. I did not know that, but I knew, I kind of drew the association in Becky with any, whether it's, you want to call it the Proud Boys, or some other group, because there's a few around,
There are.
the Klan, whatever you're talking about. But obviously, like I said, it's something I drew the association with them as to other white supremacy groups. But yeah, uh, again, they pick villains that you can, most people can love to hate.
Mhm,
So having that as part of what the villains are, I thought was another ingenious idea.
mhm,
So, I mean, most people, and if honestly, if you're picking, or if you don't like the movie because of that, uh, that's something, I don't think we miss your ticket dollars, but if most people could rally behind the idea of someone fighting back against something like that. So yeah, it's overall, I think this if it's turning into a franchise now. Overall, I think we can all pretty much say this is they have uh, fun evil villains, and a really terrific young lady here, Lulu Wilson, as our main hero, and she's a hero. She's cool, you know. she's cool in a
She
more
might be
subtle
more of
way.
an anti-hero.
Yes,
I
yeah,
mean, she's not doing this to defend other people. She's doing this purely for revenge.
well, that's true. But that's part of the fun right there. Yeah,
No, this is a
yeah,
great revenge flick.
yeah.
It
It's like,
follows the steps perfectly. You do feel that catharsis. You want to see these people die.
oh yeah, and it's like,
Um,
don't fuck with my dog.
but I can't call her a hero.
Well, I can, but I get what you're saying. She is more of a when you get that bloody, you become an anti-hero. But yes,
You
so
see, this
yeah,
guy behind me, do you
yep,
remember one of the three that were going to join the movement? One was very reluctant.
yes,
The
yeah,
guy in the collar,
yeah. He
yeah,
was, yeah. He's the one that of all the deaths, he was probably the one that I was probably like less excited to see
yeah, but
because
not killed by Becky.
but yeah, true. That's very true. But and they had a death like that in the first one. There was that the one guy that actually helped Becky a few times, but
Hmm.
he still kept the big strong guy, um, the Goliath dude. But still, he was going along with them, and he was still evil. So she puts and she does kill him, that big dude in the first one. But yeah,
No, wasn't it Kevin James that killed him? Oh no, it
I
was
thought
Becky. You're right, it was Becky.
because he was I'm pretty sure he was kneeling down at the end, and she had already dispatched.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
her first handgun kill.
yes, yep, yeah, that's true, and that right there leads you talking about her using weapons. That to me is like she's evolved by the end of the movie,
Mhm.
and she's evolved to the point where yeah, she's put away her pencils. Those girl days of telling tales and biting nails are done. Now she's using handguns.
But
That's a reference to Sir with Love. But go ahead.
this guy in the collar,
Yeah.
yeah, that's one of the directors. That's Matt Angel.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, a good piece of trivia there, Dom.
Well, I
Good.
mean, again, like I can find fault with this movie. I have to recognize that they got this done in under a month on a shoestring budget.
Yeah, and again, you do you have to look at what they put together, um, and they were going up against a really popular cult movie.
Yep.
There's a lot of people out there that are really into this film, and more so than maybe what you might imagine. I don't know how many people are going to view this and watch this. It's always uh, kind of hit or miss with us whether or not we get people to tune in. But you got to be nerd movie fans like we are, and we're amateur movie fans. We try to say that enough that people understand we're not
And we will watch anything. And
anything.
I don't know if anyone believes that, given the movies we've done. But
Yeah.
next year, one of my resolutions is to start picking movies that will prove to people we will watch
Yes.
anything.
Well, 2026 um, should be the year that we show more B movies as well as
Yeah,
was
we're going to show a complete lack of taste.
well, we've always had a lack of taste on, but 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 no, it's true. I mean, we love the classics. We love really good movies. We like, and we've been saying this from the start, but we like really bad movies also, and bad B movies. And when a movie's bad and it's also fun, or it makes you laugh, or again, we go to the movies for entertainment. So if it provides those things, the movie has appeal to Dom and myself, and to a lot of other people, I think. But yeah, I truly feel that this was a very competent sequel.
That, that,
to Becky.
that being said, and you're going to disagree with me, I know. I'm giving this movie one thumb up. And the
Really?
and the whole reason is because this the original Becky is I feel is so well done. I understand the constraints, the limitations the directors had on this one, but if you've seen Becky, I don't think you need to see Becky 2 until Becky 3 comes up.
Well, I highly disagree,
Mhm.
and because of that, I'm giving it two thumbs up and a pinky. That counteracts your one thumb. But no, hey, you
But
have a right
definitely a
to
fun movie.
you have a
And my
right to your
hats off
opinion.
to the
You
directors
have a
for
right to your opinion, however wrong.
my
Um,
hats off to the directors for doing what they did,
yes, yep.
again, on a shoestring budget and a short amount of time.
Well, and I understand why you have the opinion you have because it's a valid point, it's a valid argument, and I will not. I mean, again, we've said this many times, but when you talk about movies, movies like art, because they are art, are subjective, and one person might look at the Mona Lisa. I don't know why you would have a bad opinion about that, but but there are people I'm sure that look at the Mona Lisa and think it's not that good. Um, but but it's true. Some people might look at you know, a Van Gogh and prefer that to the Mona Lisa. It's just it's what you're. And again, with I understand the first Becky was so good
First
that
Becky, two thumbs up.
yeah, absolutely. And I will definitely say I would give. In fact, I'd give the first one two thumbs up and a pinky too, just because I don't know. I guess this is going to be a new thing now, but
I give it two
yeah,
devil
yeah, yeah,
horns.
yeah. Excellent, excellent. But now I'm going to have SNL things in my head. But Garth, no, as far as you know, the two films, yes, Becky was unbelievable. I think Wrath of Becky was also unbelievable, but maybe you know to a lesser degree. And it was nice that one being Becky being the start of you know what comes to be later. Um, it's it's got the freshness. It's got her fighting back with
And I will say the studio, they're morons if they don't turn this into a franchise.
absolutely because they've got a great thing going. They've got with Lulu Wilson, they've got a great whether you want to call her a villain or an anti
A
hero
great character.
or hero. She's a great character. She's fun. She's funny.
She's
And
someone that everyone has felt that degree of anger at
sure,
some point. It's some injustice.
yeah, yep, definitely an injustice. It's so, uh, and some people have felt personal loss because of people that are really bad in this world. And you would definitely have that kind of anger in your heart and in your feelings. So we get it with Becky. We understand why she is who she is.
Hmm.
Um, and she's somebody that just she's not going to lay down and take it. She's going to fight back. Um, so and and they always give us you don't just fight back with violence when it's not needed. You you know for someone in both of these movies they do something to her or to people she loves to such a degree that you can fully justify her going on the warpath.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
it's not like she's not cruel, she's not sadistic, she's not doing violence just out of
They didn't
whatever.
key your car.
Yeah. So we get it. We get why Becky is capable of doing some of the stuff she these villains, I mean, look at the villains that are behind you. These are people that are just truly awful human beings and they do truly awful things to other people. It's and the you know the villains in the first one, truly awful people.
Oh my God, Kevin James. I
Yeah,
cannot get over his
yeah,
performance.
I honestly, I agree, totally agree. He was so good, and for someone that if you knew him at all from, his, that's not like what you would have expected out of him. But I kind of agree with what I said earlier. I agree with myself. I think my opinions were perfectly correct here. No, I did think they kind of did the same thing to a lesser degree, maybe with Sean Williams. I think he provided entertainment as someone who you didn't necessarily think of him as that kind of a character, that kind of a villain, or at least I didn't. So I definitely liked seeing him in that role, and I was surprised because I thought, I'm trying to think. There's different comedy. Oh, I can Vince Vaughn. A lot of people go on about how versatile Vince Vaughn is and all that. I don't think he is. I don't think he's a great actor. I think he's a very good comedian. Makes me laugh. I think he can be extremely funny, but I don't see him. And I've seen him in a few other vehicles. Like what was the True Detective one that with the first one that was the HBO did, the one with Matthew
Oh
McConaughey,
yeah,
and yeah, that first one was so good. And then the very next one they did, I believe, was the one with Vince Vaughn. And I like he was supposed to be this badass gangster guy and everything, and I thought he's got such a smarmy comedic delivery that all I could picture was him doing comedy. Um,
this
and
season two suffered from the same thing Wrath of Becky did, though. Season one of True Detective was a
oh
masterpiece.
my God, it was so good.
And
It was
season
so good.
two, I don't think it was bad, but
I
it
did.
just did not compare.
I never even watched the third one, and I have no idea whether the third was any good because
Third
the
wasn't
first one
bad.
was.
They did an interesting memory thing in the story that
Yeah.
I added a new dimension.
I'll have to check it out, but the second one just alienated me so much from the franchise. And again, uh, I own the first one, and I love it. And I haven't rewatched it since I saw it the first time, but I truly loved it. I thought it was so good with the different characters between Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. They were terrific together.
They
And
were.
oh my God, that was just to me that was so well done.
That was peak
And
television.
yeah, it was the best when you see television producing that type of fare. Um, that's as good as anything Hollywood's been putting out. That's for sure.
Mhm.
So I think we've said all that we probably can say about this one. Now we could go on, but Dom, uh, this coming week is going to be your pick.
Balls
And
in
I
my
think
court.
I can tell by the smile that's on your face that you have a pick, and I would love to know what it is, and I think our audience would love to know what it is.
Well, we're going into the holiday season,
Sure.
and I try to pick topical movies, holiday themed movies, and there's one I wanted to use last Christmas that I
Right.
didn't get to, so I'm going to pick it now. One of my favorite Christmas movies,
Okay.
The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Okay. Um, I know the movie, and right now I'm drawing a blank on it again.
Gina
Uh,
Davis, and I can't remember who her co-star is.
Um,
I want to say it's Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay. Oh, okay. 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 Yes. Yep. Now it just clicked in my head. Again, I apologize to everyone that might be still watching, but yeah, I did work a night shift. I've come off of three night shifts in a row, so luckily I'm off tonight. But yeah, catch up on some sleep and some rest. But no, that's a pick that I would say is one I have not rewatched
I haven't
probably
seen
since
this in maybe 20 years.
I have, I think the first time I saw it was the only time I saw it. So going back to this one is going to be a nice revisit. So okay, folks, that's the pick, The Long Kiss Goodnight, and we will see you guys again next week. If you would like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're a very small channel. We need your love and support. Um, it's really nice to leave likes. We don't often get those. There'll be two or three people that will leave a like, and then everybody else maybe we see that people have watched, but they haven't. And you know, if you leave a dislike, it's okay. We get it. You know, not everyone probably likes us as much as we like as much as we like ourselves.
We
But
like you. Why don't you like
yeah,
us?
why don't you like us? But no, if you don't, and if there's some reason that you actually left a thumbs down, um, you know, it would be nice to say, you know, you guys suck, or or you got, you know, like you this that you said was so wrong, or this was, you know, it's not a bad thing just to leave a comment and just give us a reason why. Because, you know, if there's something we're doing that we can change, or that maybe we could take into account, that's that, you know, it's good to help us too. We're vulnerable. so, so, so anyway, I'm joking and not joking at the same time, but yep, please, if you guys would like, subscribe, or if you want to dislike it. But you know, maybe just say something. Let us know. You know, if we can do something. And again, we always ask for this movie, Wrath of Becky, that we're doing today. This was again Kim. Shout out to Kim. She's the one that recommended it, and we had a lot of fun rewatching both of these. So um, recommend stuff to us. We'll do what you know, we'll do what you ask. So, but okay,
Command
having
us.
yes, Dom, I had a lot of fun. I think you did too,
Oh,
and
always.
so see you next week with The Long Kiss Goodnight, and so with having said all that, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Uh,
Have a good week, everyone.
yeah, have a good week. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. So, so see you guys. See you guys next week. Thanks.